This podcast has changed. It's changed a lot. You know,
it hasn't changed at all.
It used to be about Leeds United and football. Now he's wanting me to talk about genitalia.
We tried to go mainstream and it didn't work. Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock podcast. My name is Adonis. You know me as at the Adelites on Twitter. It's a very good hello from me joining us to discuss the Cara-bow Cup game. Brilliant game, wasn't it? And our recent Cup history, England World Cup squad. We'll preview Spurs and we'll talk about Willies as well, apparently. Is the Prince of Darkness, Big Mac-Machievelli at Ewan Metcalf.
Hey, thanks. Good to see you, boys. Good to see you, Wiggy.
Very good to see you, Mac. And good to hear you. And chairman of...
Don't start. I'll go off. Stop it.
Chairman of the board, Wiggy, at Wiggy1234.
Good evening, lads.
Good evening. Only one place.
Yeah.
Go on.
No. There's only one place. That the look, the kind of general handsomeness of the peacocks has gone up unrecognisably. Now me and Wiggy are on, not Rob and Barney. Just thought I'd put that. Just throw that in there because I know Rob fancies himself a bit, but fuck me and Wiggy are good-looking bastards.
Honestly, yeah, the peacocks are like a ever-changing sugar babes lineup.
We're
getting stronger. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we started with that.
So I just wanted to point it out. Babe magnets.
Yes. Oh dear. Right, Wolverhampton.
Throwing him off now.
I'm still buzzing from the England cricket this morning. Riding that wave of Indian tears. Wolverhampton, Carabao Cup, Wolves won, Leeds 0. Everybody seemed very happy to lose on Twitter, apart from me, who was fuming.
You were very upset, though. That's slightly too much, I reckon. You know, I'm not going to call you a moaner. I know people did, but I
was fuming. I was really disappointed. I was looking forward to a cup run. Every year we make 10 changes like we're in Europe. We shrug and say, well, the kids did all right. We had a massive opportunity tonight and we blew it. When are we going to take these competitions seriously? I feel sorry for the travelling fans. That's what I said.
Fucking hell, you moaning bastard.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
Linda didn't, at HG Whites. Don't feel sorry for me, pal. I enjoyed the game and was proud of the youngsters. I'm a Leeds supporter, not a moaner like you. Get real. Get real.
Get in there, Linda.
Oof, Linda. Oof. Othering me like that. How'd you do me like that, Linda?
Before we decant the game, you know, there's a lot to unpack from the game. But to be honest, I was less disappointed than you. I just thought, fucking so what? It's like, you know, and this is the problem, innit? It becomes slightly apathetic about it. And I think that we'll come on to this, no doubt, but that's in part down to we're used to getting knocked out of cups with a whimper and fizzling out of games in cup games, and it's become a bit of a habit. And I think the other thing that I would say, the reason I was more bothered than getting knocked out of the Carabao Cup, to be honest, because we won't win it, will we? I mean, Man City are playing like the third string and they've still got £500 million worth of footballers sat on the bench and stuff, but it's more the fact that we were on a bit of a roll, weren't we, for getting results and stuff. And I think it's kind of disturbed that. You know, in any sport, what you want to do is go out and win every game, don't you? It's impossible to win every game, but you want to try and get a momentum behind you. And I think if we'd have gone and got a result last night, 3 on the bounce, you go into the last game before the World Cup, which is important to get some points on the board with that momentum and a bit of, you know, kind of confidence behind you. So, yeah, not overly upset, but equally been nice to get a result. And like you said, get a cup run for once. God almighty, it's been a long time.
Wiggy, Wolverhampton.
Yeah, I thought the first 45, I quite enjoyed the game, to be honest with you. I thought there was chances either end. I thought it was a really good game. And I think the thing for me, I wasn't overly bothered by the amount of changes, especially the way they came out and started. I think for me, it was the weakness of the bench, and I can't believe we didn't put any of our, Rocker on or Adams on or people on the bench who can potentially change the game for us. I think if you look at the bench, there's Greenwood and obviously Nonto, but other than that, there was no one else who you would look and go, yeah, they're going to change the game for us. So I think that was a disappointment for us. And obviously, he started with Harrison, and I think that indicates where he's going at the weekend, I believe. That's my input anyway.
Yeah, for me, it's about a winning mentality and about, having respect for ourselves and taking competition seriously and wanting to win every game. That's a winning mentality, right? That's why I was so disappointed. We made 10 changes. We played all the kids and all the kind of out of form players. It's a reserve team, essentially. And it was a performance where we didn't have any fight, or we just, like you said, Ewan, we'd have accepted it. We've accepted that look at this cup history. This is absolutely ridiculous. Look, this is the FA Cup. Sutton, Newport County, QPR, Arsenal, okay, Crawley Town, West Ham. It's the third round for 5 seasons in a row, the FA Cup. Let's have a look at the League Cup. Not much better. You've got your Bradford, Doncaster, Preston, Stoke, Hull. It's just we've come to accept it. It's absolutely awful, and it was fine when we were in the Championship, League One. You don't expect much, but we're in the Premier League now, and they've been constantly talking about, look, we're going to go to Europe in 3 years, 4 years time. We're not finishing in the top 6. I'm telling you now. It's not happening, Rads. Unless some miracle happens or you start signing some checks in January. It's not going to happen in 3 years. But we could win the Carabao Cup. We could. We've beaten Man City when we were down to 10 men. We've thrashed Chelsea this year 3-0. We've beat Liverpool at Anfield. We can beat big teams. That shouldn't threaten us. We shouldn't be fearful of that. We could have won the Carabao Cup this season. We could be going to Europe next season. I'm telling you.
But I think I'm in the middle of you two, because I think Mac's not bothered and you're kind of bothered, and I'm kind of in the middle. It'd be nice, but it is what it is. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I think City will win it. I think City will win everything.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, are you going to win it? If you get to a final, it's a great day out. I remember the Villa game. Fucking awful. It was one of my worst days because it was completely over before we'd even got going. So it can be really disappointing getting to a final and losing. Yeah.
Robo Max back.
Off.
Oh God!
Fuck right off.
We'll have to sort this out at some point. It's all right though. We heard what you said. We got the gist. You're better than Big Wig. Much better connection than Big Wig. Yeah. I was at that final, and it's the only time I've seen my mum cry. I think that's probably why I've got quite a strong connection to it. There's got to be some kind of redemption. It's like when we as an England fan, when we got that penalty shootout against Colombia, I went off me tits. I mean, there was this primal scream when we won that penalty shootout that was like, 30 years of hurt, literally, being roared out. And then I went fucking nuts and just hugging and kissing random strangers, dancing around the streets in Vienna. It's unbelievable.
I think this really, as well, from the board's perspective, quite a short-sightedness on it as well, because if we get a home tag, and let's use Barnsley as an example, there were so many people there with the kids and the next generation of fans that could get a ticket, which you just can't get for love nor money in the Premier League. So if you do go on a bit of a cup run and you get home draws, and I know you've got to rely on a home draw, but say you get 1 or 2 home draws, you've got the commercial revenue and the next generation of fans able to come and watch us. So yeah, it's a bit of a silly one.
It's just rubbish. I mean, the positive was the kids wanted it. The young players, they were great. I thought Hjelde was really good. Robo, the goalkeeper, Rob Blaze, whatever, he looked like a good no, second. His actual distribution's better than Melié's, to be honest. I thought Yabi was really good. Not Perkins, Joseph in and out, looked decent, good footballer, lacking in a bit of end product. But, overall, you've got to be proud of the lads that went out and they did it. I think they were let down by some of the senior players, Firpo, Harrison, let them down. And what you want if you're going to pick a load of kids, there's 3 or 4 strong senior pros in there dragging them through it. And I thought in some cases the kids were better than, I thought Lorente had a better game than he's had for a while as well, to be fair to him. But some of the others let him down. But there's some great performances by the kids, and they can't help that there was 10 changes. They can't help that Marsh decided to go that way. I'd have been, if Rodrigo was absolutely flying and had played every game this season and needed a rest, fair enough. If there's others in there that, but to have an Adams in that team last night and have Rodrigo up front for me would have made a big difference. You're not saying play the same team, but don't change 10. Change 4 or 5. But have somebody on the bench that you can come on to change it, and we didn't really have that either. So, yeah, disappointing in that respect. But it's not my favourite cup competition in the world, to be honest.
Yeah, I just feel like it's the one we can win.
Possibly, yeah. There's a few Premier League teams gone out as well, isn't there? So it's more achievable, I guess.
Yeah. West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, all out. Don't you just hate not being in the hat for the next round, says Bandy. Yes, I don't know why, but it just made me furious. It made me furious that I wasn't even bothered that much about some of the Premier League games we've lost this season. Honestly, I was more fuming about just the lack of winning mentality and building up that momentum and taking our club seriously. And like you said, Wiggy, lots of extra sort of benefits. Another one would be on ESPN. We were on ESPN2 again in the US. And I just think, what, that they were screening that instead of Man City Chelsea or whatever. And, you're forcing people to watch that. The first 10, 20, 30 minutes was fine again. The rest of the game was just crap. It was all Wolves.
You bring me down here.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I told you it wasn't going to be a fun one. I'm fuming. Absolutely fuming.
I was in a right good mood before I came on this fucking
If only it was my microphone that didn't work.
Yeah. Somebody mute him, for fuck's sake.
Right, here we go. Bandy, why don't we try to get used to winning? Thank you, Bandy. See, yeah, Bandy's a real supporter. Yeah. Not a moaner.
Moaner like you.
I just go back to what Max says. I think I wouldn't have started Rodrigo. I maybe would have started the Adams or thing, but I'd have had Rodrigo on the bench to come on and try change it, especially when we're getting into the latter stages and it's still 0-0. He comes on and he tries to change it. I think he was right to go with Gelhardt up front, or just behind, because I think he deserves that opportunity. Anyway, it's done, isn't it?
Right, let's go through the lineup then. Robles in goal. He was okay, right? Well, apart from their goal, his positioning was terrible.
Yeah, but his positioning was great. It's a good shot on it.
Yeah, fair enough. Firpo, our starting left back in the Premier League.
Not good enough.
No. Yelde. I thought Yelde was good. Well. Yep.
Very good.
Llorente.
Yep, played better.
Decent for him.
Okay. Are we just going to get into... was everybody just okay? But nobody actually did anything good?
I thought Ayling was the standout senior player. I thought he was brilliant.
Wiggy? Ayling?
I agree. I thought Ayling was really good. I thought the majority were okay. Yeah.
JB? Click?
Yeah, good. Click was average.
And Harrison?
Shit.
And Joffy?
Imposter. He's an imposter. He's not really Harrison. He's somebody else.
Okay. I don't know what's happened to Joffy at all.
He's unfit, isn't he? God. He's not fit.
It's weird.
That's
said
what's
last
wrong
night,
with him.
it's like when you played football with your mates and your younger brother came along in his wellies. Your tubby younger brother came along in his wellies and tried to play with you, and that's what he looks like.
What's his mum's name? Linda. Linda, if you're watching or listening, we're sorry. He didn't mean that.
Stop giving him donuts, for fuck's sake. Get him on a fucking athlete's diet.
Oh no. Sponsored by Yorkshire Puds like Yaboa.
Yeah, exactly.
Gail Dale says, we won the FA Cup in the 70s. What are you moaning about? That's it, Gail.
Exactly.
Like the board still cashing in on promotion.
You should be grateful for that.
Yeah. Perkins and Helga looked good, says Ian Wood. I'm sure Yelda will be thrilled to know his nickname is Helga.
Helga the Polish shot putter. She's brilliant. She was great.
Suggested by the bench that maybe Jesse not bothered about the cup. A real shame, says Gary. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And Nora's chipped in here with some knowledge. Marsh must be under so much pressure with the Premier League, though. Well, that's correct. He's definitely under pressure.
Welcome to Leeds. Welcome to the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's not fucking, softball. It's not Major League softball in America. No, it's pressure's on all the time, isn't it? But to get like you said, to get a win would have helped.
This is a huge comment here. Agree with Adonis. This don't care, not bothered about losing view is fucking pathetic. In my opinion, if you're not bothered or don't care about Leeds losing, you're not a real fan. Real fans feel the pain and hurt. Come on.
Fuck me, someone agreed with you.
Come on, 14 Yorks.
And bottle that person up.
Yeah.
You know what it is, though? I think when you do go to the games, you do take losses differently. You'll know from going week in, week out, Wiggy at Ellen Road, the whole kind of everything that goes with going to the games sort of takes away from the result, but makes it a little bit more bearable if you get beat. And my pal went to the game last night. I think he's mental going down to Wolves on a Wednesday night, to watch a second string or a third string team play. But, he sort of enjoys it, and I think it's a bit of gallows humour and what have you. And by all accounts, everybody was coked up anyway, so probably those that were there didn't mind because they were off the nut.
Allegedly.
And I'm not everybody, just some of them, the minority.
Right, yeah. The incredibly happy minority. Here's some footage of the board then. This is what they... this is their thoughts on football in general.
Well, I think if they win, I should get all the credit, and if they lose, I should not be blamed at all.
There you go. So, just like to thank the board for releasing that statement for us. Right, moving on. The England World Cup squad. Should we talk about that? God, all these topics. My enthusiasm dies as I'm saying them.
Yeah. How are we doing this?
I've got more interest in the Netflix series about FIFA being corrupt.
Oh yeah, okay. Do we care about the World Cup?
Not really.
Of course.
This is our united fan base. Come on.
It's like assholes. Everybody's got one, haven't they?
It's just not exciting, is it, this year?
Bit weird, isn't it?
I said on Twitter this week, and a lot of people sort of said the same, that it's the least. I mean, I remember watching Scotland in the '78 World Cup, and I remember the final. Partly because when I wanted Argentina to win, because they looked cool, didn't they, back in '78, and I liked Cruyff, and it was the tick-tape final where, it was just amazing sort of spectacle. And when Argentina scored the winner, I knocked a tea tray over in the front room. I stood up and went, "Yay!" and knocked a full tea tray over in the front room in my house in Seacroft. And so I remember it for lots of reasons. But I've looked forward to every World Cup, and I've been to a couple since. And this is the one I've looked forward to the least. I don't even mean look forward to the least. Like literally, is there a World Cup happening? Am I bothered? Will I watch it? You know, of course we will. But just I can't get excited about it. I mean, there's been no coverage on the television, and people saying that's because there's a current Premier League season going on. So what? It's the biggest football competition. It comes around every 4 years, and it's just awful. There's been very little sort of television coverage profile on it. And I just can't get excited about it. I mean, it's in a god-awful country. I feel sorry for fans that are going because you've seen the accommodation that they've got to stay in. It looks fucking like a gulag. It just looks contrived. Obviously, I've just watched the first episode, of
FIFA Uncovered.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, Blatters admitted it was a mistake. We all knew that immediately when it was announced, You look at the corruption that's gone on and how it's been contrived in the years. I never realised about Avalanche, the Brazilian guy that's sort of changed the way that that FIFA was run, and it kind of became a business. How corrupt it was, taking money from Adidas and the 78 World Cup, obviously being held in a country at that time which was run by a junta and was killing and imprisoning people who were speaking up against their kind of way of running a country and the kind of political needs, and it was kind of almost a bought World Cup, and it's obviously still happening from 78 to 2022. We've not learned a fucking thing, have we?
So FIFA wrote to the football associations of different countries going to the World Cup, and they were sort of saying, just shut up, basically. Stop dragging football into every ideological or political battle that exists was the message, and focus on the football, said FIFA. So this is our reply, our quote tweet on Twitter. Dear FAs, please forget about the 6,500 deaths building the stadiums, the widespread human rights violations, the bribes to give it to Qatar, a fire festival, hospitality, and just cover your shoulders. Don't kiss in public. Definitely don't be gay. Shut up and enjoy the football. FIFA kiss.
Disgusting, mate. It's probably disgusting. Wiggy, mate, you must have an opinion on this,
In the age of cancel culture, how is this World Cup still going ahead? That's what I want to know. J.K. Rowling is fuming.
More passionate about this subject than us, and obviously, what's your thoughts about having the World Cup in Qatar, and what would you feel like if you were going to watch England?
Well, obviously, there's my personal view on the fact that I'm a gay man, and I would never go to Qatar in the first place. I think anyone who is going who is gay, I would just say, look after yourselves and be really careful. You know where you are, and therefore just take the precautions you need to make sure you keep yourself safe.
Act a bit macho. And...
yeah. Butch up a bit.
Beer. Yeah, I'd love it. I mean, yeah, beer. Yeah.
Could you imagine me? I drink a rosé spritzer at the football in Qatar with a rosé spritzer.
Sweetheart, get me a rosé.
And I couldn't be. I don't know anyone who is going to the World Cup. Definitely not from Matching Out Together. And I think it's sad that they don't feel that they can go, and I don't feel I could go, if that makes sense. It just cuts off an entire fan base, and it's almost, there's people talking about we need to do X, Y, Z, speak to the FA. It's too late. The decision was made years and years ago, and once that decision made, there's no U-turning on it, especially the closer you get. I think it's just a real sad shame, and I am even less interested in the World Cup more than usual, because I was saying today to a friend, I'd usually be booking the afternoon off work to watch a group game or sorting out some drinks one night. I cannot even be asked doing any of it. If it's on in the background, I'll watch it. But and I'm not saying that won't change. World Cup fever might take over, and we might get really far. I don't think we will. We might get really far, like in the Euros where, the nation got swept up on it. I'm not saying that might not happen, but as of today, I couldn't be less interested in any of it. It's a nonsense.
I think that's really sad that whatever your disposition is, whatever you kind of your choices in life are, that not just gay men or lesbian women, or there'll be quite a lot of groups that will feel uneasy, uncomfortable, threatened. Let's be frank, in danger from going to a country to watch a World Cup. In this day and age, don't you think that's disgrace? That's disgracing it.
It really is. Yeah.
Barnes is in the comments. Freezing your tits off watching the World Cup should be in the beer garden this summer drinking Carling. There you go. Never mind rosé spritz. Get a Carling down you.
But that's what I would do in the summer. I'd be sat in Headingley Beer Garden with a bottle of rosé and a soda water, and I'd be happy as Larry.
I think more than I don't know, more than an accidental number of deaths during the building of the stadiums, during the construction of the stadiums, I think then, it has to be boycotted, surely, and that's, we're talking maybe 10 or something. Thousands of people have died just building the stadiums. I mean, when I first heard the 6,500 number, I couldn't believe it, but some people are quoting even more. Some people are saying more like over 15,000.
It's dying wars. I mean, how the fuck does that happen? I mean, what kind of, obviously building regs and health and safety and stuff isn't a massive priority out there, but how can that many people die in a building scenario and in development? I mean, I can't get my head around that. That's staggering.
Mac, we're just having some. I don't know if you wanted to plug in and plug out your mic or give it another go.
He'll just literally did that before and it just mutes me, so fuck you. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
Yeah. All the viewers going, get him to do it. Fucking sick of listening to it.
It just sounds like, what did somebody say here? The guy on the end sounds like a Dalek. It does a little bit, Matt. It does a little bit.
To be fair as well, it looks like one.
Fuck you, Wiggy.
Jeez. Jeez, Mac was in a really good mood before this podcast. No. Right, Gary Keith. I'm in for it sounds like hypocrisy. I'm in for the LGBT community. Yeah, especially when you've got all these, we're wearing the t-shirts, we've got the rainbow laces, we're doing all the we look at us, we're really good, we're really progressive. Oh, and by the way, we're off to Qatar for a World Cup. Nice one, FIFA, thanks. Wait, Matt, is it fixed now?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, but
yay! There we go. He's back.
Trying my best, for fuck's sake. Jesus
The Mac
Christ,
is back, doing good and looking fly.
I know there's I think certain men, right? Certain men, I think you just tainted. You basically cursed with technology, and I'm one of them blokes. I think it's because I hark back to a day where technology wasn't as important, and we talked and met in pubs, and you didn't have mobile phones and stuff. So, but even if I was a caveman, I'd probably moan about the fucking oil, the cave paintings or the fucking sandals.
But the thing is, you've never sounded better now. I don't know what you just did, but I'm glad I said something because you sound. It's crystal clear.
Is it really fucking great? Well, let's make the most of it while it lasts.
Yeah.
Big Wig, you can fuck right off. It's never as bad as yours, man.
Go on, Ewan. You sound like me the other week, says Big Wig on Facebook.
Tell you what, fucking bastard.
Right. Bandy said, when I was a boy, homosexuality was illegal. Now that we have that fixed, we want to be holier than thou. I don't know what you mean by the last bit, but we're certainly progressing, aren't we? And that was kind of the point that I was trying to make about the Willy Nonto chant on Monday, is that, we've, especially as English people, we sort of imperialized and enslaved the world through, this kind of white supremacy ideology that we tried to pass off as science. And that historical context is not involved in making a Willy Nonto chant because it's just some blokes having a lot of fun, pissed up at the football. Making dick jokes. But then you have to kind of, that's why we're here, and that's why authorities are there to kind of think, okay, maybe this isn't the best idea for all these middle-aged blokes to pissed up to be talking about a 19-year-old's penis in a racial stereotyping sort of a way.
You'd hope researching them on the internet, mate.
Right, it's my fault. And and in that vein, you expect the authorities like FIFA to not go to places like Qatar.
Right, I think whilst we're on about that, and I know you talked about it on Monday, but I think the way the club have dealt with that has been actually really good, and they get a lot of shit at times, but I think they've subtly put something out that says, you need to change this up a bit, and I think all hats to them, and they don't get much credit at the minute, but I think they deserve that. And well, maybe not the club, but the person who runs their social media. Yeah,
Wilson, wasn't it? See, that was a very subtle tweet that didn't work because the cock chant continued last night, so it was probably too subtle.
I think that's step one, isn't it, in trying to change the chant and the behaviour, and it will then progress from that if it continues.
Hey,
look at that. Tell you what, you have kids and they do your head in most of the time. But every so often they bring you a beer when you're on a podcast, and it's all worth it.
Look at that. Hello.
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 Hi.
Go on, bugger off now.
To be fair, you'll probably talk more sense.
Love you. Bye.
A last-minute substitution there for Ewan. We desperately try and find somebody who can talk to some sense. Speaking of your offspring, Ewan.
Yes.
Luca, we haven't seen you since the trial.
My many offspring. Yeah, do you know what? It's on my list. Should probably update everybody because I'm sure you're all intrigued. But so he scored a hat-trick. So he couldn't have done much more. I mean, he wasn't happy about going initially because he's got a bit of a knee injury and he was like a bit, what if I let myself down? And I said, listen, sometimes you've just got to go out on your sword, son. You turn up, you do your best, and if you break down or your knee you've had a go, rather than not knowing. And he was really upset because he just didn't want to let himself down. First 2 minutes he scores. I thought, well, that's a good start. And I'd spoke to the coach before and said, look, he's got a bit of a knock, just be aware that he's got this knee injury and so on. And he scored after about 2 minutes. Then he scored one from the edge of the area with first time bent into the top corner, absolute top bins. I was like, and the coach walked past me and he went, fucking knee my ass. And, which I thought was great. And then he scored. He ended up scoring a hat trick. The thing that I really loved, though, what he did really well. So they have a green and an orange team, and it was development squad and shadow squad mixed, and they'd only took 6 from his development squad into that game, and he'd been put on the green team. And when they were winning 5-0, he'd scored twice, and they moved him. They put him on the orange team, and I sort of know from the system, from being in that situation myself, they do that to see where the kids who are, you're all right when you're winning 5-0, but can you come back from 5-0? Can you turn it round? Can you make an impact on a team they were getting their ass wiped, really? And they have 20-minute quarters. So the next 20 minutes goes to 6-4. So the other team's only scored once, and they've scored 4. The next 20 minutes goes, it's 7-all, and then Luca's team, the Oranges, ended up winning 9-7. So they only scored twice after he moved teams, and he scored another goal. And just couldn't have done much more. So if they're not looking for that kind of player, he's got a real difference about the way he plays as well. He's not a typical player. He's a real game changer. If they're not looking for that, I don't know what they're looking for. And I said this to him, and I think this is just typical of being in that system. Stop shouting at Wiggy.
Sorry, Wiggy, move to the. Can you move to the right a bit? Sorry,
that better?
Yeah, perfect. I need to see the whole of your pretty face.
Oh,
I know. I'm going to say, don't detract from that beautiful face, Wiggy.
Yeah.
So I would just.
He did really well.
Listening
really
intently.
Yeah, sorry, mate. He did really well, and I said to him, "Listen, you've done all you can." And if they don't want you, sometimes the academies are looking for a certain player, a big centre half, a striker, a quick winger. And he sort of played 10 and he played centre mid a bit. Sometimes they're just not looking for the player that you are, whether you're as good as you were or not. It doesn't always matter. It's what they're actually looking for. But I don't think he could have done any more. There was a lot of good feedback. Quite a lot of the coaches pulled him off, to talk to him and said, look, just relax on the ball, do this, giving him a bit of advice. And they didn't do that with everybody. So I think they were taking an interest in him. So listen, he gets a letter in a couple of weeks' time and he's either in or he's out. And that's the brutality of being in that system. But he couldn't have done any more. I was dead proud of him and he was buzzing after. He was really pleased with his performance. And he's quite hard on himself. So what can you do? 3 goals in an academy assessment game is if you got your grave with that, can't you? You can tell your grandkids about that. I mean, that's an achievement that many people don't get to do in itself. So, yeah, brilliant. Loved it.
It's brilliant. Well done, Luca. And I think it's just one of those things, isn't it? You're going to get a lot of setbacks in life. It's that meme, isn't it? It's like you think life is like a journey from here to here or whatever. But the actual journey is like...
Life is a roller coaster. Let's get behind it. All night long. Come on, Wiggy, you should know
all night long.
I am not fucking singing Ronan Keating. No chance.
Oh dear. Right. Next topic.
Thanks for asking, boys. He'll be pleased that people are asking. He was dead chuffed that he got a few, good luck messages on last week. So thank you.
Brilliant. We're massively behind Luca, and I just think if Leeds don't want him, there'll be plenty of other clubs who would want him. So that's all I'd say. This is not the if you don't make one team when you're 9 or 10 or whatever it is. How old is he?
Luca's 13, 14.
13. Yeah. If you don't make one team when you're 13, then that's not the end of the world. Still very young.
Harrogate Town are League 2 team now, and the guy from Harrogate Town loves him. He thinks he's brilliant. So I'm not saying who knows.
Yeah, there you
can
go.
earn a living playing football. I mean, who don't want to do that?
Yeah. I mean, look at Jamie Vardy, signed from non-league, and Ian Wright,
Stocksbridge Steel. Yeah.
One closer to home, Jermaine Beckford.
Yeah. Wilston or whatever he was at, wasn't he? And fitting windows. And,
played RAC,
Yeah, I think Stuart Pearce. There's loads of examples. I think it's less common these days. You tend to normally be in a system, but there will be examples of it. And listen, playing at any level and being able to earn a living from it is an amazing thing to do. And I just said to him, enjoy it. What a great experience he's had. Not many people. I mean, some of the quality of the players around him. Moving away from Luca, I mean the standard and the pace at which that game is played, that academy sort of, and bear in mind that's like the second tier, is stunning. I mean, and if you take something away from all those experiences, don't you? And you learn something from every opportunity that you're given. And he's playing with great footballers. I mean, he looks better because people are making better runs for him and pass the ball better, and it's stunning to watch. I mean, it really is. It's impressive for 13, 14-year-old lads. It's brilliant.
Good work.
Right here. Keep those comments coming in. Bandy says the USA had the World Championships in 1994, so they should not have it again for at least 30 years. The world is a big place. That's right, Bandy. Where's Jamaica 2030? Or the Caribbean islands 2030, that'd be good. We should probably get them in before they go underwater because of climate change.
The Water Polo World Cup 2030.
I might be more excited.
Maybe. Oh, you've been watching you wanted to talk about the wheelchair World Cup, did you, Mac?
Oh no, the rugby league wheelchair. Wow! I'm just in awe. I'm proper addicted to watching it. I mean, to sort of have that kind of adversity in your life and to come. I mean, listen, they will still have challenges, and you see like footballers on a football pitch. They've got lives beyond that, and I'm sure it's very difficult and challenging. But wow, when they're on that court, man, they throw their bodies, they put their bodies where, 100% physically able people would not, and it's just stunning to watch it. I mean, and the skill level and the pace at which the game is played is amazing. But to see guys who's obviously had significant, those kind of people. I watched American Wales the other day. I mean, that's how addicted to it I am. I wouldn't watch American Wales at in an international, but I did watch the Rugby League World Cup, and it was just, some of them are war veterans who've had really serious injuries, and the skill level and the pace and the commitment is, and actually the sportsmanship as well. You get these guys flying into each other in a wheelchair and tipped up, and rather than kind of get on with the game, you get the guys from the opposite team sort of picking them up and helping them and sort of making sure they're okay. It's just staggering. I mean, it fills your heart with like warmth and like I mean,
they proper roll around, don't they? They're still on their, like, strapped to their wheelchairs basically, but they're diving through the air and they're hitting the ground. I mean, their heads could go into wheel spokes or
they're kind of adapted wheelchairs to take the impact. But there was
a tackle
bonkers,
by
two Welsh lads on an American guy the other day where he went in between them, kind of headlong between them. I mean, it's stunning, and I just think it's a really great spot. I mean, a bit like the Rugby League World Cup, it's been, many of the games have been very one-sided, and that's the problem in it. It's the kind of, if you look at the World Cup, the Rugby League World Cup in itself, some of the games 64, 64-10. I mean, it's a non-competition, but I think as it gets to the final stages, it's going to be amazing. I mean, I think England have got Wales, and France must have. I can't remember who France are playing in the semis, but once it gets to that final four, a bit like the Rugby League World Cup, I think it'll be very competitive. And I'm just in awe of them. I just want to take my hat off to them and say, look, what a great spectacle and what a brilliant sort of commitment to, providing some sport and entertainment when, life hasn't been too kind to you and you maybe had reasons to quit and sort of blame life and give up, but bloody hell, they give it 100%. And I've just really enjoyed watching it. I think it's been superb, and I look forward to watching the semis and the final. And God bless them, brilliant sport to watch, and it's great.
Okay, and a quick mention, because you guys didn't, you went on the pod on Monday. So Wiggy, did you want to say something about how the Bournemouth game was on Saturday?
I've still got bloody injuries from it. Honestly, with my legs. But our kid is a fucking knobhead, right? He tucks me all over for limbs just to fucking make himself laugh. There's a dickhead behind me who chucks himself 4 rows forward. Honestly, my legs are battered and bruised. But yeah, like at half time, fuck me out. It was home time. I was like, I can't watch this shite anymore. Like, if another goes in, I'm off. And I was hungover anyway. Anyway, obviously another did go in, and I was like, no, like, and then all of a sudden it just changed, didn't it? And the minute that Greenwood goal went in, you just thought, this is here for the taking. And yeah, it were fantastic in the end. I think, don't get me wrong, we were defensively shy, but the buzz of coming back from 3 down, 3-4-3, it's just, there's nothing better than it.
Yeah,
Mac.
I think like Wiggy, you can't keep getting away with that. He's getting out of jail too often, and it's not going to keep happening. I think defensively, the worry is it still looks like the system more than it is the sum of its parts, And again, I don't know. I think he's got to change. Hopefully, the World Cup provides 4 weeks where he can find a way to make it work, because I don't think he's a bad bloke. I don't think we've got bad players. I think we could quite easily finish 12th to 15th, without a struggle. But the system's killing us. I mean, you look at that game, and the minute that he brought Gnonto on and he brought the kids on, there was almost a release, like a handbrake release. And it was like he'd said, just go out and play football. Go out and cause chaos. And the system kind of took a back seat. It was almost, not that he didn't change the system, but we played really differently, and that's when we looked like a really threatening and cohesive and kind
we
of
were looking
together.
To win, weren't we? We were looking to win.
Yeah, because we had a system that could win, where we were chaotic and they didn't know what to do with us. I mean, and Gnonto was a massive part of that. But I think that there was definitely a change in mentality and almost a release of the handbrake to say, just go out and play and let's go and have a go at these now with nothing to lose. That's worrying to me. As much as it was a great positive on the day and it got us where we wanted to be on the day, that's worrying that you've got a coach that almost says, right, forget about everything we've told you. Just go out and do what you're fucking born to do. You know, it's a bit like we talk about my son and footballers, and I've said it before on this podcast, they're overcoached. You know, if you put 11 footballers on the pitch and say, go out and, you know, try and score as many goals as you can and enjoy it, 9 times out of 10 they'll play good football and it'll be entertaining and they'll do their jobs. This overcoaching, this obsession with systems and technical and tactics, and I think it's bollocks. You know, it was fairly evident from the Bournemouth game that given that free rein, we were miles better. So,
yeah.
And I thought Somerville and Nonto
just start like that.
Exactly. If Bamford can't get his finger out of his ass and
I'm glad you mentioned Bamford because this was brought to my attention this week. The biggest underperforming forwards in Europe's top 5 leagues. So 1, 2, and 3, Tammy Abraham, Patrick Bamford, and Danny Welbeck. Some interesting other ones in there. You've got Jesus as 10th. You thought, well, he had a really great start and then trailed off a bit. Obviously, he's had a lot of chances and he's missing them.
Can't believe there's a guy called Kevin Lasagna.
Yeah, Kevin Lasagna. Hellas Verona.
Wow.
So there you go. Patrick Bamford, the second highest underperforming striker, and you'd have to say with the minutes that he's been playing, he might be first if you gave him more time. But it's not working with Bamford, is it? It's not working. We need a striker, don't we? And maybe another one.
It just isn't working with him at the minute, and you know, you willed him to go on after that first season to you know to do it, but it just was a lucky season in my opinion. And I think just lastly on the Bournemouth game, because I think it's just worth mentioning, when he was bringing Greenwood on, I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, this is ridiculous. And I were proven wrong. I thought Greenwood was superb, and I think he deserved his goal. That kind of went in slow motion on the day for me. It was almost like a slow-mo goal. It was brilliant. And then obviously his corners are fantastic. So I'm willing to give him more time.
I was really happy. I was really optimistic because I've seen him so much in the under-23s. He's just... The free kicks he can score, the goals, the number of goals he scored. It was him and Joffrey running the under-23s, and they were the ones who got promoted into Premier League 2 Division 1. Yeah. And we've seen Joffrey make the step up. So Greenwood's there now. I believe you and me, he can score goals. And from that number 8 position, that's exactly what we need because we haven't had any consistency goal-scoring wise from basically anybody else.
I think Rob said it on the match review, so I won't linger. But fucking hell, we've got to have a better set piece taker than Jack Harrison. Is appalling. I mean, last night they got one which was in a great position, and he sticks it beyond the. I mean, it was just awful. You couldn't write how bad he is at taking set pieces. Stop doing your geography teachers there, for fuck's sake. So I just think if as Greenwood, when you look at him, left foot, right foot, can take free kicks with both feet. Corners with both feet. Why have we still got Harrison when he's on the pitch taking set pieces is beyond me because Harrison's done nothing to show me he can take a set piece, for it. And Aronson, I think again Rob mentioned it. 2 of them stood over a corner. It's just the most pointless fucking thing I've ever seen, and it does again make you think: what is Marsh doing? What are they doing in training? Having 2 players over a corner like that's going to cause some sort of confusion. Over a free kick with a left foot or right foot, and you don't know which way it's going to go. Fair enough. Corner. I mean, fuck me, please. It's embarrassing at times, and Greenwood I thought did great, and his goal was brilliant, and the contribution otherwise was great. Nonto brilliant. Somerville and Nonto will scare defences miles more than Bamford at the moment.
Yeah,
miles more. Proven on Saturday.
Yep. We need 2 strikers, says Ian Wood. Maybe Jesse's tactics confuses them. says Gary Keith. He even said they don't fully understand the aggressive defending. But neither do we, mate. Neither do we, Gary. Plantar fasciitis. Fasciitis.
Plays for Greece, doesn't he?
Fucked it, basically. It's a nightmare injury. Never been the same since, says Gary. And I have to say that is true. Right, Spurs, very quickly. Score predictions, thoughts?
Oh, this is tough. Oh, yeah.
It is, but like something in me saying we're going to get something this weekend, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know why it is, because I think we won't convince me.
We're definitely losing then.
Yeah, probably.
You heard it here first.
Probably. But I don't know. There's something in me that says we're going to get something out of it. I'm not saying we're going to win, but I don't think we're going to get beat. I've got high hopes for this weekend. I think Son missing for them is a big miss, and I think
Kane looks nice as well.
Yeah, I think it gives us half a chance. I mean, don't get me wrong, our defending's fucking shite. So Kane with one leg and two bloody two crutches and be able to get through them. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think we're on for a 2-2 because we're going to let some goals in, but I think we're going to be all right in Scarson.
Beautiful, love it.
This is what you're talking about, right? The Spurs problems. Kane exhausted. Decky, who's that? No idea. Returned from injury. Richarlison returning from injury. Son injured. Romero injured. Bentancur. What is this? Exhausted? Come on. How much are they paid? Get some sleep.
Don't mind, lads.
Yeah. So there you go. That's very Spursy problems, isn't it? Tired. Oh, he's a little bit tired. He hasn't had his cheese board.
Yeah.
I'm fucking knackered, but I turn up to work every day and do my job.
Yeah, you've only got to fucking sit at a desk drinking rosé and fucking go out for a few fags every day or whatever.
Hey, look, let me tell you, it's fucking hard work.
I bet it is, mate. I love it. You do great work as well, Wiggy. I know the job you're doing. It's superb. So yeah, I won't give you it. But yeah, do you know what it is? We Spurs is it depends. It's a bit like us. Depends which Spurs turn up. But I agree with Wiggy. I think we'll get something. I think we'll get a draw. I think it'll be we're never going to keep a clean sheet ever. So let's say it's going to be a high scoring draw. And, Kane. There's got to be a lot of players, international players in that Spurs team going to the World Cup who might have one eye on that. Kane, they've only commented on it today. I think Conte said, he's tired, which is great. Going into England, going into a World Cup, our probably biggest hope. But let's hope we can get something, because I think to go into that World Cup break, having won 2 and got something at Spurs, a win would be amazing. A draw would be great. More than we can hope for. So fingers crossed.
If I were Adams, I think I'd be getting stuck into Kane now.
Possibly, yeah. Because they're both. I was thinking about who's going to be left, during that thing for Jesse to work with, and obviously Adams and Aronson will be gone. Christensen gone. That's about it, isn't it? I think.
Click's not being picked.
Probably.
Click's not being.
Has he
picked.
not?
No.
No Rodrigo, no Llorente, no Koch. I mean,
Roberts haven't been picked.
Fucking.
Sorry,
Fucking Betty, me and you were right. Well, actually, me and you were right about Bamford saying he'd have one good season and that'd be it. And then you thought Roberts was all right for a bit, and then came around to my way of thinking. And I think even Wales have realised his shit now. But yeah, I think Koch's a surprising one, because they've picked Mario Götze, who hasn't played for about 5 years. I know in a different position, but Koch not going for Germany. Seems he was a German international when he came on. He was getting picked quite regularly, so maybe they're seeing something that
the Leeds effect, the Marsh effect.
The Leeds effect, yeah.
Fucking Marsh.
Still, they're never gonna love him, are you, mate?
I'm very worried about Spurs. That's what I'd say. I'm very, very worried about them, because we could have been 6-0 down to Bournemouth, or 6-1 down. On another day we don't get that penalty. In fact, on most other days we don't get that penalty. This time it was our 1 in 59 games or whatever to get a penalty. So you take that, you put that to one side. We could have been 6-1, 6-0 down to Bournemouth, and it's only because they were playing with a front 5 Now think about what Spurs' front five could look like. And my God, Perisic, Kulusevski, Kane. That's Sessegnon. It's frightening to me. It's frightening. I'm worried. We're very, very leaky at the back.
Let's be honest though, Bournemouth went 2-0 up against Spurs.
Yeah.
Magical thinking.
All right.
So
All
Bournemouth went a couple of goals, scored 3 up against, or get 2 up against us, but actually they did go 2 up against Tottenham, and Tottenham came back to win 3-2. So magical thinking, kids. That's where it's
I'll take
at.
it. Yeah. I'm still fuming from last night. That's my issue.
You're not thinking straight. The Wolves effect.
Right then, final thoughts. Anything? You got anything going on? You want to spruik anything or?
No, life is just roller coaster at the minute, isn't it? You just got to ride it.
Roller coaster, let's ride it all night long.
Let's enjoy the Spurs game because it's going to be a month till we see any Leeds United. So that's what I'm planning to do at the weekend is watch the game and enjoy it before that shambles starts the week after.
When's the last time you enjoyed a Leeds United game?
It was a week ago when I got battered and bruised at the Bournemouth game. I enjoyed it when we were winning 4-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last 3 minutes you enjoyed. When was the last time you enjoyed a full 90 minutes of watching Leeds? Just trying to think back to the last time a full 90 minutes of Leeds.
Chelsea?
It would, Chelsea when I was there.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the Liverpool game, obviously. But Chelsea when I was physically there, was brilliant. But the last time consistently is when, I won't mention his name, but when we played that fantastic football we used to play. And even if you were getting beat bloody 3-1, you still had hope and internal optimism that we'd do something. And at Bournemouth, I didn't feel that, but obviously we did, so that's good.
I always think back to we used to go when O'Leary was manager and Smith was coming through and Viduka and all them and Bowyer and what have you, and you kind of went every week thinking we'll win today. That was the last time I genuinely enjoyed going, not having any apprehension going into a game. And I'm talking about physically being in the stadium and kind of thinking, we'll win this. Most times you went in the ground. And that's been God's honest. And even under Bielsa, I mean, certainly in the Championship, I guess, but Premier League was always a bit more precarious, wasn't it? But that was the last time I remember being really confident virtually every week in, week out, was when O'Leary's kind of babes were flying and we could beat anybody and you could dare to dream. And so I'm never going to get fucking that excited again because look what happened fucking months after that.
That's one of my fondest memories. I think it was New Year's Day we beat West Ham. I think 2002 to go top of the league. My season ticket were in the Cop at the time. I remember walking out and obviously everyone's singing "We Are the Champions" or whatever we were singing, and you felt like this just internal optimism that we were winning it that year. And fuck me, didn't we fuck it up?
Went downhill quickly after that, but I remember that I was at that game. It was brilliant, and Robbie Fowler scored that lob, didn't he? And it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was excellent.
It just went downhill super quick. I think that was the New Year's Eve that they all got caught up in the trouble in Leeds, wasn't it? And it went downhill quickly after that. But even for a couple of seasons before that, when we were finishing in Europe and getting in the UEFA Cup and Radby and Woodgate, you kind of felt like
Spartak Moscow.
Yeah, that was on my birthday. That was December the 9th, I think, 2001, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, it was day after my birthday. We ended up in Players Bar, which was Rio Ferdinand's bar. And Howard Marks was in there. It was fucking brilliant. It was like, this is fucking like, there was loads of footballers. Harry Kewell was in there. All footballers were in there. And Howard Marks, who, found out it was my birthday through one of my pals and came up and sat and chatted to us for 5 minutes and bought me a drink. And I thought, this is fucking great. Leeds are great. The socials are great. And it's never been the same since. But I feel like crying. But that even before that in the UEFA Cup, nobody came to Welland Road and got it easy. The fans were all behind it. There was, everybody was together. You know, the team was a fortress, Ellen Road, and the team was confident at Ellen Road that we're going to get something. And it's the last time I remember going to games thinking, yeah, you know, we're winning this. It was brilliant, and it's so nice to be like. I mean, people going about Man City, it must be boring, you know, knowing most weeks you go, no, it's not. It's fucking ace. It's not. You know, if you can do it without sports washing, and if you can do it without, you know, illegal gains, great. But what a great feeling to go to your home ground thinking, I can take my children and we're all going to come home happy. You know, I can go in and have a celebratory drink after pretty much 9 times out of 10. What a great feeling as a sport, you know, as a fan, as a Leeds fan.
Right then, a few of your comments. Inwood 2-1 Leeds. Gary Keith 3-3, but it could be anything. But I'll be brave. Enough of this free hit bull. Let's give Spurs what they deserve. 3-1. And Liam B says Leeds draw 1-1. And somebody else mentioned, Bandy it was, Leeds versus Spurs under Bielsa. That's the last time he was happy, I guess, which is the meme, the Rodrigo meme. Where that comes
the first
from.
goal where they've checked it, yeah.
Callum Sharp talking about Harrison the other night. Harrison looking up into the sky again, hoping God can give him a good foot.
A good what?
A foot.
Oh, okay, sorry, misread.
Yeah, something. Yeah, just steady on. He doesn't do that apart from to Mary. Is that right?
Yeah, it's after. Yeah.
Let's not get into religion. O'Leary has unfinished business with Leeds, says Liam, which is a nod.
Moment's gone.
Asking for O'Leary to come back. This can't be right.
That ship sailed, I think.
I've met him once. He came to our school. Very nice man. And a big wig on Facebook. Wiggy, you went and shook Risdale's hand and said, thank you, sir, for signing Robbie Fowler. I can imagine how polite you were.
I was very polite, and it was the euphoria of signing Fowler was gigantic at the time.
Yeah.
So he's trying to embarrass me there, but he can piss off.
Right. That's it. Piss off, big wig. And Colin Sharp, 49ers taking over.
Yeah,
that'd be good, wouldn't it?
2024 though, apparently. It's fucking hell, it's a long time, isn't it?
Talk about the end of the season, or there's talk about a little bit in January, or tipping them over the edge and then finishing it off at the end of the season. But the sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned. This it's becoming a little bit untenable. Like I said on Tuesday about the board, just some insight. I didn't want to write about Victor. I didn't want to write about him. I didn't want to write about the board. I don't want them to make it all about them. I'd like to talk about the young kids that are playing so well. But yeah, it's clearly not working. You can't have two separate ownership groups, because it pulls the club apart, and there's been a lack of investment. They just need to get on with it now. Get on with it. Spend some big money. Get us some big signings in, some really good players, and let's push on.
No, I think we've said for a long time that there's something at the boardroom level that's causing problems, on the pitch, and it's playing out more evidently now. I haven't got any hate for Radrizzani. I'm not a massive fan of Kinnear, to be honest, for loads of reasons. Namely, probably mostly because of the fucking awful kits that he keeps fucking signing off. But that's another story. But the author thing about him, this kind of sack the board nonsense after beating Bournemouth 4-3 when we should have been 5-1 down at half time, I just think it's appalling. I think you've got to read the room, and he gets caught up in it a bit like all us fans do. But to sort of take the piss out of the fans in the stadium is a really dangerous thing to do, but also a really badly calculated thing to do.
Not savvy, is it? Not very savvy.
Not savvy at all. And I get, nobody should threaten his his family, or be ringing his phone, or be doing all that. That's awful. But
no.
that's a minority, and you don't. That's going to go worldwide. That kind of meme of him, that kind of gif of him giving it to the fans, sack the board, and it's just silly. I mean, you can't come out a winner doing stuff like that. So I think that are the 49ers my chosen people to take? Absolutely not. But something's got to give, and if they're in the box seat, then I'm afraid it's time to make a decision, and Radrizzani needs to either put his money where his mouth is, or leave with people thinking what a brilliant job he's done. Buying the stadium back, getting Bielsa, getting us promoted. There's a load of brilliant things that you would probably celebrate and congratulate them on. But it just seems to be getting a little bit sour, doesn't it, between the fans and them particularly. So it's time to move to the next stage, really.
49ers plus Lowy is the sixth richest. We'd be the sixth richest club, says Ian Wood.
Is that right?
Sounds good.
It's worked for Newcastle, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. And don't trust the 49ers, long live Rad, says Bandy. So that's the United fan base. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, listen, it's all about opinions. That's why we're here. And God bless you. That's exactly what it should be like. But healthy debate and none of this nonsense. I think the thing with
supporters and moaners. That's how we divide the fan base.
I don't want Rad's dead. Long live him. He can live for as long as he wants. But I just want him to pass the mantle on to somebody who's going to invest properly and get us where we want to be.
Rightio. Well, that was the pod. If you've got anything else to say, forever hold your pee.
I need a pee, actually. I'm dying for a piss.
And your peacock. Forever hold your peacock. Speak now or forever hold your peacock. There you go. Like and subscribe and give us a rating on a podcast. And follow us on Mastodon or wherever whatever social media you're using now. And we'll see you next week.